if I have time, they will see if the authorities can change the class. She did not told me that it is possible or not, but she said, first of all, you have to set the new class and tell me, then I will try to talk to the authorities, and if it was possible for them, they can change it. Um, Here we have some points that we have to consider. First of all, since there is 23 of you in the class, every member of the class should agree to change the time. If only 10 or 12 or 13 or 15 want to change the time of the class, is not possible. Every 23 of you should agree to change the time of the class. Um, the time which is suitable for me and I have free time is Saturday afternoon after 2 o'clock Tehran time. I think in Iraq it is 7 o'clock in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, please correct me. So Tehran time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon is possible for me. I mean, afternoon, any time of it, it doesn't make any difference. Whatever the time is, it's okay. But it should be afternoon, after 2 o'clock. So the first and the second classes in the afternoon of the Saturday are suitable for me. Um, I have to look out because I was going to have a class in Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. I don't know whether my class is going to take place or not. If not, that time is also suitable for me and it is manageable. Otherwise, on the other time of the week, I'm afraid I do not have free time because I have classes. And also, I have a free time, I think, in Thursday, not Tuesday. Thursday afternoon, last class. Last class in the Thursday is also possible for me. So if you want to uh, change the time of the class, which I think is going to be very, very difficult, I'm not sure whether it is possible or not. You have to work it out between you yourselves and then let me know. Um, by the way, did you made, I think you have made a group in um, WhatsApp, didn't you? Research methodology Tehran, I suppose. Yes. Uh, I'm going to send you the book that we are going to work on to this group, okay? In a few minutes time. Um, but before that, because we are going to start reading from it, I want you to have the book, and then later I will send you the lesson plan, and we will start working on our lesson plan from next week. We're going to start. Okay, yes. Muhammad Abdulraza, thank you. I've seen it. I found it. I'm going to send um, the book I have introduced to you and a lesson plan. Okay? But give me a few seconds to send it to you. Just give me a few seconds. First of all, uh, uh, do all of you have my voice perfectly with no problem and interaction and interferences? Please let me know about the quality of my voice. Okay. About the time of the class, please do not write anything here. Okay? You have to discuss it in your group in WhatsApp. When you have come to a conclusion and you have all agreed on one specific time different from today, then let me know. I will ask the head of the department for the change. If she could do that, we will make a change. If not, we have to stick to this time early in the morning. Okay, good. So I'm going to turn off my microphone for a few minutes because I'm going to send the book that we are going to work on, and also because it is very bulky, I cannot bring it here in the screen unless I have to take some part of it and then do that. And then I will send you the schedule and the lesson plan as well. Okay, so give me a few minutes, please. Okay. Did you receive the files? If you have, I want you kindly to open the file which entitled Research Methodology Term 4001, the term that we are in, علوم تحقیقات Tehran. Would you open that, please? If you have received your let me know, please, if you have received the files, two files. Okay, good. Now, if you open the file research methodology term 4001 علوم تحقیقات تهران, would you open it, please? This is going to be our lesson plan for this term. The course title is Research Methodology in English Literature, specifically MA. So we are not going to start from the very beginning that what research is, types of research and this kind of thing that we have discussed in the previous lesson. Remember, in the previous lesson, we just had an overview of what research is about. The course description. This course provides an introduction to research methodology in English studies with an aim to familiarize students with basic concepts of research and preparation for thesis writing. Basic concepts of research. So it does not cover everything in detail because we do not have time. One term is not enough. The course examines current research paradigms and principles of research while covering a range of theoretical and practical issues related to research in English language studies in order to equip students with an appropriate understanding of concepts, tools, and methods to conduct future research in their field of interest. As you could see here, this course is to familiarize you with the basic concept of research and preparation for thesis writing that you are going to have at the end of your all courses. When you have finished with your theoretical courses, you have to provide a dissertation, a thesis, which is going to be considered as 6 units. And without that, your course in MA is not completed. And this course also will help you to provide any kind of research projects. For example, writing a paper to be published in a journal, literary journal, or to be presented in a conference, for example, and so forth. So by knowing how to do this perfectly, it will act as a very good tool for us to prepare us to write a good research project as our thesis, or as it is sometimes called dissertation. We will see the differences between thesis and dissertation. Actually, they are one, but they are used in different forms in different in America and in Britain. That's why it is a little bit different. Um, Now let us consider the course content. Are you following me? I'm trying to speak very slowly so that you can catch all my words and do not miss anything. Okay? That's why I am speaking very slowly. Because in the previous term, I had two classes with your friends, uh, and they claimed that I was speaking very fast, and they could not understand most of the words that I was saying. For this particular reason, in order to prevent such a matter to happen again, I am speaking with a very slow pace. That's why I am speaking in this way. If you are okay with my um, pronunciation, I can increase um, the speed of my speaking. Anyway, now let us move to the course content. Do you have the pamphlet in front of you? I'm going to read this part. The contents introduce students, the content that we are going to work in this term, to a variety of concepts related to research in English literature. By providing an understanding of basic concepts of research, the course contents aim to help students distinguish and critique various research methods and thereby partake in the process of conducting research from planning to presentation. From planning to presentation. So by going through this term, you should be able at the end to prepare a research project and then presenting it. Because the presentation of your project is also very important. When you are writing a paper and you present it in a conference, your presentation is the output of what you have done. Maybe you have worked on a project for 3 or 5 months, but you're presenting in only 20 minutes. So your presentation should be perfect and very thorough. And it is very, very important. Indicative content of the course includes the following. So, what we are going to do in our course. Number one, Introduction to Research in English Studies, Nature of Research in English Literature, and Key Concepts of Research in English Studies. Introduction to Research in English Studies, generally, Nature of Research in English Literature, and Key Concepts of Research in English Studies. Second, Introduction to Context Samples as dissertations and journal articles. So we are going to become familiar with some samples, either from theses and dissertations by other students that have been written before, and also some journal articles. 3. Introduction to literature review and useful sources in English literature, and identifying a research need. There will be an introductory review, an introduction to a literature review. We are going to talk about what literature review means, how we can refer to other sources in literature which are related to the topic that we have chosen in order to gather data and information to work on. How we can do this, how we can find the useful sources, in what way we are going to manage and check them out. Do we have to read all the books, dissertations, papers, and all other sources from the very beginning up to the end? Or we should be equipped with some techniques to know how and in what way the specific source is going to be helpful for us, or we have to put it aside because it is not good enough for your purpose of study. So that's why here we have mentioned identifying a research need. What our research needs, and accordingly we are going to choose the body of literature from other sources that can help us to write and improve our own research. What are the literary works and concepts and approaches that you are going to use? And what questions you are going to pose in order to do a research for finding answers for those questions, or a question that you are after. Okay. 5. Introduction to research methodology and literary theory. What methods of study we are going to choose, and it is suitable and reliable for our study, and in what way we are going to choose this structure. Actually, what kind of a structure and techniques and methods you are going to use in order to go through your study and conduct your study thoroughly, perfectly, the best and its best way. These are different parts that, when they are put together, you can make a research project. So we are going to discuss all these different parts. And finally, 6, introduction to interpreting data through models or theories. Interpreting data, the data that you have accumulated and gathered from different sources, from different literature review, and then now you have taken and chosen the best parts that are perfectly matches with your topic and your study field, or the field of study. And according to specific models and theories, as I've mentioned, such as um, literary approaches, and how you are going to use them in your study, in your research project. Now, if you do not have any problem about these parts, let us move to the next section of the lesson plan. Course objectives. Okay, after doing all of these together through the course, what will be the outcome? What objectives this course have? And how it is going to be helpful for us? What do we expect to get at the end of the course? After the course is finished, what changes we are going to practice and examine in our studies? Are you going to feel that now, before you were not able, but now you are able to do a research project or not? So the course, this particular course called Research Methodology of Literary Texts, aims to enable the students, or you, to, one, understand various research paradigms and become aware of theoretical and practical issues related to humanities research, especially in contemporary English language studies. Theoretical and practical. Usually in this kind of classes, we read only theories. What is the meaning of methodology? What methodologies are? What are the techniques for choosing for the best methodology for our work? What is the meaning of review of related literature? What is the meaning of the research questions and hypotheses of the research? What is the function of the purpose of the study? Okay, theoretically we should know these, but we are going to learn and practice all of this in order to produce and create and write a literary research. If we know all of these theoretically, but we cannot use them practically, it is of no use. So we are going to learn both paradigm of the research in the field of humanities, which is directly related to our topic, which is literature. Literature is considered to be a part of the humanities studies. Some fields of science, such as physics, mathematics, biology, chemistry, and groups like these, they do not consider humanities or social studies very serious because they think that everything should be very restricted based on formulas that can be approved scientifically. Otherwise, it is not accepted. But the history shows that the studies and finding and research in social studies and humanities, such as literature, philosophy, psychology, sociology, and so forth, they have been very, very influential and very useful for the humanity. The problem with the research in humanities is that we cannot base our studies on any specific formulas, cannot um, refer to a formula that says that water uh, boils at 100 degrees centigrade. This is the case. Always happens at the same time. Maybe in some cases, for example, if you are at the top of a mountain, it's a little bit different. But this is a rule. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and it's not going to change. But in humanities, we do not have such fixed answers. That's why everything is based on theories, hypotheses, theories that are not 100% proved, that they have been presented and they have functioned perfectly. Whatever we have in philosophy, in the field of philosophy, or psychology, sociology, or literature, because literature is a multidisciplinary uh, topic and subject, which deals with all of these branches of a study that I've just mentioned, even physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. So as you can see, it is very, very, it covers and entangles many different kinds of uh, fields of study. Um, and specifically by focusing on contemporary English language studies in literature specifically, because we are focusing on literature. Second, review previously published work in the field. Select an appropriate research topic with an awareness of principles in research design. You are going to review lots of previous published works which have appeared in the form of papers, presented in journals or conferences, or dissertations, or any kind of research book. After covering them, reading them, either thoroughly or just by skimming and scanning technique, you're going to select an appropriate research topic for yourself. Or if I am talking to the class, for yourselves, because every member of the class should do this by receiving help through reading and covering different kind of previously published works in the field of literature. You are going to select and choose an appropriate research topic by having in mind, or by having this awareness of principles in research design, that what to do with that topic, what shall I do with that topic that I have chosen? Okay, I have chosen a topic, what shall I do with it? After you have become familiar with the different parts of a research, you can start, you can manage to give a structure to your study and move step by step and gradually and develop your research and the debate that you have put forward. Third, demonstrate knowledge required to plan and conduct research with an understanding of appropriate research methods for a particular domain. One of your tasks and one of the things that at the end of the term you should have practiced and obtained is that you should or you are able to demonstrate the specific knowledge which is required to plan and put forward and conduct a research with an understanding of appropriate research methods. Because now you know and you have enough information at the end of the term, I mean, from different methods, you know what method is going to be suitable for your particular domain of a study. Number four, fourth objective of the course is to familiarize themselves, I mean the students, with the skills to analyze different types of research data. To become familiar, or actually in this case, you become familiar with the specific skills to be able to analyze different types of research data that you have gathered and you have learned how to gather these information. And number five, consolidate their research and academic skills. They refer to the students. It refers to you. Consolidate your research and academic skills to present research findings in written forms. Okay, by learning how to choose your topic, presented in the form of presentation as well, orally. So writing the paper is the final tip of your research. Because if you gather many information and data and you know how to put them together, but you don't know how to write them at the end in the form of a paper or a dissertation, uh, it cannot help you at all. The task is done halfway. Task is finished when you have prepared a report of all the efforts that you have made gradually and little by little in the process of your research. So this or these points that I've mentioned here, number 1 to 5, are the course objectives. So at the end of the course, we should be able to do these things. Next part, as you can see, is learning outcomes. Okay, what is the output of the things that we are going to practice and cover through the term? Let me tell you something. If you have put forward a great effort and encouraged yourself to come to university in order to do your MA courses and after 2 years become a specialist in English literature, you have to put some in the levels, the schools, universities, or wherever you are, even if you are not going to use um, your MA for teaching purposes at, I don't know, apart from schools and private institutions, for example, even. But again, uh, you should have the courage and enough knowledge to do your job perfectly, because we will all become responsible for the certificate that we are receiving. And it is very, very important. You will become the master of art. It's a very important title, and you should bear it, carry it with you. This is a title that is given to you. But when it is given to you, it means that you should deserve it. And you should gain enough skills and knowledge so that you can use them both in theoretical and practical way for the society that you are living in, and you are going to use it wherever it is, if it is in your own country or in other countries that you may travel. The reason I've just mentioned this is that some of the students come to these courses only for passing the units, receiving some marks, and then get out of it in order to gain the title, the MA title. But if they are not going to be at the same time educated, it is of no worth. Because in many cases, I've seen that the student says it is not important what we are learning, because we are not going to use our knowledge for teaching, for example. We are doing something else. We run our own private business, but we only wanted to have an BA, MA. Okay, even if it is the case, not only this uh, topic that we are studying together, but other topics. If you do a course in poetry, in novel, I don't know, romantic poetry, contemporary drama, contemporary um, poetry, 17th and 18th century English literature, short stories, understanding literature, uh, whatsoever, whatsoever. All the courses are here in order to help you to increase the level of your knowledge in English literature. So what I want to say, the gist of I've just mentioned is that you have to you have to take your courses serious and try hard for them and study them. I know the number of the books and the pamphlets and sources that you are going to encounter during these 2 years are going to be numerous, very much, but you have to take it. You have to manage it. You have to spend time for it. Fortunately, these online classes are now available. Before um, or after the COVID, when it is done and gone, hopefully, in a very near future, forever, we should come to the classes in person. We should travel to Tehran and sit in the classes. Now that the classes are not possible uh, to be run in person, we have the opportunity to use the internet, although it has lots of difficulties and problems and shortcomings, but it is still available, fortunately. And while you are sitting at your home or your workplace at home, you receive your classes and you can participate your efforts in the classes. This is a blessing. Okay. Uh, After this short sermon that I've just went through, let me continue. Now, second, define and this is the learning outcomes of the course. Define an appropriate research topic by recognizing a suitable research area and thereby identify research problems and formulate research questions accordingly. So after going through all these, you should be able to find and search for a new topic in a suitable research area, and you will be able to identify research problem or problems, because if you do not have any research problem, how can you do a research? There should be a problem that you are going to solve it through the course of your research. If there is no question, if there is no problem, so why bothering doing a research? So always in the research we have a problem, research problem or problems, and you are able to formulate your research questions accordingly. So when we have a problem, there are the formation of some questions in our mind, and all our research is in search for finding answers to those questions that have been created in our mind in the first place. Third, design and conduct a research study in accordance with the identified research need. After you have chosen your topic, which is not an easy task. The topic is only maybe up to 20 words, but finding the topic is a very important task and a very laborious task. Uh, by being able to find the topic, half of the job is done, because after that you can fully concentrate on your topic and how to design it. So after you are finding your topic, you can design it and conduct your research study in accordance with the identified research need. What your research needs, what field of study you are going to cover, where you can receive help from, will become quite clear. I'm afraid I have made a mistake in using the numbers. Number 4 is missing, so please forget about that. You can correct it yourself. I mean, turn number 5 to 4, 6 to 5, and 7 to 6, okay? Sorry for this inconvenience. Next, number 4, assess ways to collect, compile, and conduct a data analysis within theoretical frameworks. You will learn you will be able to, how to collect, accumulate, gather information, put them aside correctly, compile them together, and conduct a data analysis within your theoretical framework. Whatever theoretical framework that you have chosen to use, and we are going to study how you are going to filling it with your datas. What datas, what suitable datas, and what are the ones that are not going to help you in progressing your research. Next one, number 5, deduct results and formulate conclusions. Okay, I have found a topic, I've gathered information, I have formulated them, I have a problem or problems here, I have my questions, I have my methods, I have my data collection. The next step is to deduct outcome, result, and the formulate conclusions. When I have put these together and analyzed them in a specific way, what will be the outcome? What will be the result? Remember that the result is not clear from the very beginning, because if you know the results from the beginning, why should you bother to do the research? You are looking for answers for your questions that have been deducted from problem or problems that you have seen in topic. And after doing your research, you have some suggestions from the beginning as an hypothesis. I think that the end result of this research is going to be this and that. But you have to do the research to see whether the results are in line with what you have suggested as your hypothesis, or no, sometimes it is different, our surprise. And finally, apply academic skills to present the research study findings in an academic format. It should be done in an academic format. So we have to follow all the academic requirements for writing a research. If we do not use them, if we neglect them, if we not apply them, these academic techniques and rules and regulations in our work, they are not valid. Academically, they are not valid. They are not reliable. They would not become reliable. It will become reliable when it is academically accepted and published. Have you heard maybe nowadays that a group of scientists in the field of biology, for example, or chemistry, they do some new researches on COVID-19. Unless their findings are not approved and published in a suitable academic journal, it is not accepted at all. Even when it is done so, it is entering the field of the study. If it is not done in that way, it is not accepted at all. For example, your country tried to find a vaccine or a new vaccine different from the ones that are in the market. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, Sputnik, and whatsoever. Sinopharm and others. They have been medically approved. They have the results by the scientists or group of scientists or a chemical institution have been published and presented in an academic way, and academic papers, research papers in very valuable academic journals, then they have received their exceptions from the different societies, and they have become liable to be used by the masses. For example, in our country, in Iran, there has been a very great effort to make 4 or 5 different vaccines for COVID-19. But since they have not been published academically in acceptable journals yet, no one can enforce anyone to use them. I mean, they cannot be distributed. A great deal of money has been spent on that, but until they have not been published and approved academically, they cannot be distributed. So it shows that how important this final phase of our learning outcomes is. Okay. Now, we have 20 minutes to end of the class. Uh, since I have talked a lot from the very beginning of the class up until now, um, I think it is good to have 1 or 2 minutes refreshment and then come back again after 2 minutes, okay? So I'm going to disconnect my microphone for 2 minutes and come back after you have refreshed yourself by drinking some water or tea or coffee, whatever you have at hand, and refreshed yourselves, okay? Because I think you have class after this again, so we will be back in 2 minutes time, okay? Thank you. Okay, welcome back everybody. How are you again? Um, while I was checking my list, I see that there has been a name in the class who is present in the class, but the name is not in my list. Mr. Hidayatullah Hajizadeh. I don't know whether you are Iraqi or Iranian because your name looks like Iranian. Mr. Hidayatullah Hajizadeh, who is present in the class, but the name is not in my list. Have you registered your name lately? Mr. Hajizadeh, are you Iranian or Iraqi? Yeah, I know. Okay, we have Mr. Fekri Badi in the class. We have Taysir Jawad Kazem. We have Muhammad Khalil Ibrahim. We have Fatan Saad Saleh. I think some of these friends also, we have another class. I think it is contemporary drama, if I'm not mistaken. I remember Fatan. We have Hebe Subhi Hossein, we have Ismail Abd Hossein, we have Muhammad Abdul Reza Hamoud, we have Natiq Adnan Abdul Sahib, we have Mustafa Ouda. Mustafa Ouda, we were together in the previous term with understanding literature, and I suppose it was romantic poetry, if I'm not mistaken. We have Huwayd Quduri Jamil. We have many Muhammad Hassan. We have Zahra Muhammad Abdul Karim. We have Reza Muhammad Mahawash. We have Sareh Musa, who is not in the class at the moment. And we have Adayatollah Ajizadeh. I've just mentioned your name in order to make sure that if you are in the class but I didn't read your name, please let me know so that I can check it out. Muhammad Reza Mahawash. Let's see if I have your name here. Muhammad Reza. Muhammad Reza Muhammad. Reza Muhammad Mahawash. Reza, I don't have your name in my list. Let me add your name to my list and find this out. Natiq Adnan. Natiq? Yes, you are. Your name is in my list, Natiq. Okay, let me write your name, Mr. Muhammad Reza. Muhammad Reza Mahawash. Some of the names are very, very familiar to me. Now, the number of the students in the class has increased to 25. My God. I remember last term, we started with 15 students and we have finished with 49 students. And that was amazing. Okay. Yes, Mr. Muhammad Reza. I'm afraid I didn't have your name. I find it. I find your name. I find your name. Yes, I have it in my um, list. Don't worry. So I don't have to add it up. It's okay. No problem. Okay, good. No problem. Um, Okay, let me go back to the class because we do not have much time. Um, the teaching method, the course adopts an interactive approach, which means it needs my participation and your participation. Your participation is very, very important to understanding concepts and topics related to English studies research. Class will be conducted in lecture and tutorial modes, and the teaching and the learning will be conducted through discussion, analysis, and feedbacks. Students shall actively engage in classroom activities, offer presentations on assigned topics, as well as being engaged in a variety of online learning by accessing the relevant materials introduced in the course and by participating offline with coursework assignments. So you are going to be put and given some assignments. You are doing some activity, and then you will either send them to the um, instructor, or you will present them in the class. You will have two tasks to do. One, some activities at home, write some assignments, and send them to the class, or having presentation. I mean, you have both of them together. So the course layout, the first week is introduction and orientation. Actually, we should have done this last week, but we didn't know whether our class is going to be held or not. The assignment is examine research topics of 6 English literature MA theses at the Islamic Azad and State universities in the last 5 years. Observe and analyze report. For the next week, what you have to do is to consult your web and go and find, as mentioned here, uh, at least 6 English literature MA theses. In the MA theses, dissertations or theses in MA level at Islamic Azad University or state universities, or any other universities at your country. Okay? In the last 5 years, usually they have been put online, so they are accessible. So by going into the university's sites, that's why I have given specific sites. You can use any other sites as well. Uh, you have to find them out, choose them, choose 6 of them, um, analyze them, observe them, see what they are about, analyze them, and report them. Have your report ready, because we are going to go through them randomly in the class. So please have your reports ready and send them the day before the class on Monday, next Monday, because we are going to work on them in the class. So please, for the next week, do the task and assignment for week 1 in your lesson plan. Okay? Go and find 6 English literature MA theses at Islamic University or state universities in Iran or in Iraq or uh, other parts of the world. Observe them, analyze them, and report them. Make a report. Week 2, discussion of a student's reports, introducing academic research and the nature of the research in English literature. So after next week, after we have covered and talked about uh, your um, chosen topics and your discussions and reports about the topics of the dissertations, we are going to go through the book, the different parts of the book that I have sent to you right now. uh, the Handbook to Literary Research by D'Souza and Owens, edited by D'Souza and Owens. So we are going to go through the first part of that book. So please read that part because we are going to discuss it together. Then comes the third week, fourth week, and so forth. In the next, in fifth week, again, you have some assignments that when we get that part, I will explain it thoroughly. There is as you can see, assignment 2, week 5. In week 3 or 4 and 4, tools and techniques for literary research using online and printed sources. We are going to consult our book and then we are going to discuss it together. And next week, the week after that, Introduction to Types of Research in English Studies, Textual Scholarship and Book History. Again, it is taken from your book. This is exactly present in your book. So if you read the book that I have just sent to you in a PDF format, you have access to the source. And then in week 5, the assigned Pedis students will present a description of a theoretical framework. Our source is not going to be only the book. We are going to receive consultation from other books as well. There is a literary library which belongs to Purdue University, which is called OWL. I think in the previous session I have provided you with the address OWL, www.owl.org. When you enter to the OWL site, there is a great deal of branches that you can refer to, which are very, very impressive and very useful. But you can concentrate on literary theory. When you go to the literary theory part, there will be different approaches in English studies, such as reader response criticism, structuralism and semiotics, psychoanalytic criticism, Marxist criticism, postmodern criticism, new historicism, cultural studies, post-colonial and feminist criticism. Of course, there are much more, but since we do not have very much time, we have to limit ourselves to these. Gender studies and queer theory, eco-criticism, critical race theory, and critical disability studies. By using these parts, when we come to that part, I will explain what you have to do with those. Now, by referring to those parts, for example, feminist criticism, you will see there is an explanation about feminist criticism. And after that, there are some questions that if you are doing a research with the framework of feminist criticism, you have to look for answers for such questions. And the questions are given there. From the feminist point of view, if your approach is eco-criticism, it will be different. The questions will be different. So what we have to do during these weeks is that you will be selected 2 by 2 because we have 24 students in the class. We have to have a joint presentation. Both of you will For example, if you have chosen eco-criticism, you are going to present eco-criticism in the class. In every class, we can have at least 4 presentations or 5 presentations because they are very short. And also you are going to read the questions and what kind of things this specific approach, literary approach, are concerning with. So in a span time of 15 minutes or 10 minutes, you are able to present your presentation. That's why we can have 4 or 5 different presentations. After covering this part, we will move and we received your presentations, your joint presentations. Remember that both of you who are in a group have to participate in the presentation. And next, we will keep this part for later activities as well. For your assignment for the end of the term, you will choose a topic, a literary work. For example, a short story, a novel, a poem, a drama, a play, whatever. You will choose it and you will apply the literary approach that you have presented in the class. For example, if your presentation was about gender studies or post-colonial criticism, you will apply the same questions that you have represented in the class and try to find out answers from that literary work that you have chosen. For example, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. It is a novelette, it's very short. If you are going to apply post-colonial criticism on it, you have to, in the form of a paper, you are going to answer those questions that are given and written in the OWL source, literary source. And do not write the question and its answers in front of it, which has been taken from the text. You should prepare it in a form of an essay. So the questions are not apparently appear on the text as questions. So I'm going to give more explanation about this later on. Since we have reached the end of the class, the activities on week 8, introduction to genre and area of focus research, literary research and interdisciplinary literary research and other media, literary research and translation, which is another part 3 in your book. Week 9, research process, introduction to selecting the research topic, defining the research problem, formulating questions, and identifying the theoretical approach. Week 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, that will come apparently consecutively based on the parts that are in your book. About your assessments and your tasks and the things that you have to do in the class and the presentations, we will discuss next week. So for the next week, your assignment is to go and find at least 6 English literature MA theses from different sources, observe them, analyze them, and report them. And we are going to discuss them in the class, okay? This is for the next week. And also, please study the first section of your book, introduction, because I'm going to give some explanation about the next parts. The course evaluation and the course assignments, lecture presentations, and term paper are mentioned here, and the recommended reading books are available here. I will explain more about the course assignments in more details next session. Okay. Well, thank you very much indeed. We have, since we have reached the end of the class. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. If not, thank you very much indeed for your presence in the class, and till next session, so long and take care, and have a very good week ahead. Goodbye.